leveling review. I'm also be doing some barbell rows. Solo leveling is probably the most hype anime right now, and I don't really think it's close, even though there's a lot of good shows going on. If you're unfamiliar, which I think a lot of you would be if you're watching this, solo leveling is set in Korea. You got jin-woo, who's a hunter. For a bit of context, this world was like our world, but then these gates started appearing with monsters in them, and alongside that, hunters appeared. So people would have an awakening within themselves, and they'd get like a set power level from E to S, and then those hunters basically are tasked with dealing with these dungeons, otherwise they dungeon break, and there were basically monsters loose in the city, okay? So our main character, jin-woo, is E rank, and even among E ranks, he's deemed the weakest hunter. He's almost dead on every mission, okay? This guy has a death wish. But why is he doing this? Even the weakest hunters still get enough money to kind of sustain a family. And right now his dad's AFK, and his mom's got what's called eternal sleep disease, which is this illness which appeared when the gates started appearing, and basically they're stuck in a state of eternal sleep, and there's no cure. And then from here, we see Sung go into a dungeon with a party, and typically once the boss is done, the gate will begin to close, but the gate doesn't close, and they find this other entrance, and it ends up being a double dungeon, which I think is unheard of. What ends up happening is these party members getting fucking eviscerated, dead, evaporized in half. There's a big demon guy. He does this really scary face kind of like this. And how this dungeon ends is Sung sacrifices himself pretty much so that the ones that did live can make it out. But on the brink of death, he gets like a UI pop up, and it's, do you want to become the player? Yes, or you die. He becomes the player. And then this is where the show actually starts, okay? So now Sung has acquired this ability to level up. And in leveling up, he gets new abilities, he gets stats, which are directly correlated to his actual person. And very quickly, he begins to snowball. No one else in the world can see him. No one else is like this to my knowledge. I haven't read the model yet. Maybe, I don't know. He's basically the only hunter that has the ability to raise their power level. He gets a lot of these random missions pop up, like daily missions, kill these party of people, right? And one of them gives him this dungeon that will let him create an elixir of life, which will presumably cure his mama, right? So that's his new mission. And he attempts the dungeon and almost gets killed on the first attempt. So this is where the solo level grind actually begins. So in season 1, he's hiding his power pretty well, but he goes a significant physical change, right? He's literally like a couple feet tall, which I don't know how this really isn't even addressed in the universe. Like, some people comment on it, but the guy's, I think, meant to be 24. So how is he getting this growth spurt lady? Whatever. The purest power fantasy show you could ever see. The main character, right? He really doesn't face any real setbacks anymore. He will just keep power leveling through, and he fucking sweeps everything. Sweeps dungeons, sweeps bosses, sweeps other humans that are trying to kill him. He's a beast. He's insane, okay? And at the end of season 1, up until this point, he's been a bit of like an assassin type archetype, even though he can kind of do everything. He becomes a necromancer, so he gets these shadow summons. Right. At first I was like, how is that going to be exciting? But I didn't realize he could be a necromancer, still be a frontliner, if that makes sense. So he's just insanely overpowered. He's basically a one-man army. And season 2, the pace is like, blah, 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 blah. Like every episode, something's going crazy. He's powering up like insane. He's aura farming. Okay, aura farming, I do like the term, but it's kind of made a lot of things like comical, because now I'm looking at him, he'll off-screen a boss almost, and then he's not even looking like aura. As I'm recording this, season 2 is still ongoing, but I think I had to do something just with how hyped it is. Like, you want to be part of this weekly discourse, I'm telling you. It's probably the most exciting thing I've had on Sunday in quite a while. He's got a lot of girls going after him too, but he just doesn't give a fuck. He's already basically the strongest S rank, it looks like, and I really don't care. Like, I like this overpowered main character. It's really fun. It really makes me want to pump out some reps in the gym. I want to become Sung Jin-woo. I'm gonna say it. I want to be Sung Jin-woo, guys. And all the fight scenes are directed so well, animated really well. I'm definitely going to be reading this as soon as the season ends, because I actually can't wait. A lot of people keep saying this show's kind of bad because the main character doesn't actually suffer any like real consequences or setbacks. You're boring. I'm going to say it. You guys are boring. I don't give a fuck. That's solo leveling. I highly recommend you all watch it. And as always, the Saxon Gym rating for this one. This show gets an S rank out of 10, okay? Rise.